starting to say, I never thought that voting for Trump 3 times would result in me losing tens of thousands of dollars. A beekeeper out of North Carolina says, yeah, I proudly voted for Trump all 3 times. I flew flags for him and put signs for him in the yard. But now I'm out tens of thousands of dollars due to lost federal funding and tariffs, so I cannot export my products, my honey and my wax, to other countries like I could before, and nobody's buying it in the United States. Hay producers in Idaho and Utah that export alfalfa hay to China are now seeing 135% tariffs put on their product, and all of a sudden, they don't have anywhere to ship it. They held it all winter in hopes of sending it off to China in the spring, and now China's not willing to buy. Soybean producers are once again being hit harder than they were in the first Trump administration, and China, for its part, has diversified where it pulls these products from, with Brazil becoming the #1 soybean exporter and other countries picking up the slack for honey, for beeswax, and for hay around the world. Now, China's doing a great...
And find out, MAGA edition, cattle ranchers in the state of Nebraska who voted overwhelmingly for Donald Trump fear the impact on their businesses when Donald Trump implements his mass deportation program that he campaigned on for almost 2 years, that they voted for. And now they're realizing that if he actually implements it, they'll go bankrupt. He told you for almost 2 years that he was going to deport 20 million Hispanic, Latino, undocumented immigrants living and working in the United States. You voted for that. And as cattle ranchers in the state of Nebraska, your business and your profitability depends and relies on undocumented immigrant workers who are now going to be deported by the guy that you voted for who said he was going to do that. How dumb are you people?
Hey, did you guys see this shit? I guess ICE just raided a Nebraska meat packing plant. And overnight, 80% of their workforce was gone. And if you want to know why, it's because they weren't supposed to fucking be there in the first place. And you want to know what happened next? Dozens of Nebraskans lined up to take those jobs. Glen Valley Foods was flooded with locals ready to work. Proud Americans stepping the fuck up. Love hearing that. But here's what pisses me off. That video, the video of the raid that shows all those oppressed illegal immigrants in handcuffs and this one little spoiled punk-ass kid flipping off the camera. Now, that's entitlement. Can you fucking imagine? And before you lefties start lighting up my comments, calling me a racist or a fascist or a piece of shit or whatever other slur you guys are calling people who don't agree with you and have a difference of opinion this week, maybe you should take the time to understand my position on this. Because here's what you should know about me. I firmly believe in law and order. And if you come to America, there is a process. You can follow it. Anybody can. Millions have. But if you break in illegally, you are a burglar. Simple as that. I can't go break into your country and demand free shit. Why should you be able to do that to us? If I trespassed into Mexico, I'd be arrested. If I crossed into Canada illegally, same thing. But here, they expect amnesty and free healthcare, free education, free fucking everything, all on your dime. And see, I'm just not okay with that. So I hope this little punk flipping off the camera after he got caught burglarizing our country gets exactly what he deserves. And here's what the media won't tell you. Americans do want those jobs. Just not at garbage wages competing against illegals. You clear them out and watch how fast Americans step up. Nebraska proved it. Meanwhile, our politicians throw the book at you for a fucking speeding ticket, but they look the other way when people use fake social security numbers to steal American wages. That's the reality of it. And don't give me this fucking sob story about how we need them when we've got veterans sleeping in the streets. We've got mothers working double shifts just to keep the fucking lights on. And we've got teenagers who are just desperate at a shot at their first job, but they can't get it. And yet somehow the priority is making sure that some cartel-connected asylum seeker can keep packing meat in Nebraska. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. And the thing that gets me the most, the smug middle finger in that arrest photo. That's not somebody thanking you for the opportunity that this great American nation has afforded them. That's contempt from some little shit who got caught doing what he shouldn't have been doing. That's someone laughing in your face for letting them get away with it for this long. And this whole situation should piss you off. Not because it happened in Nebraska, but because it's happening fucking everywhere. And every time you see an illegal alien working a job, understand this. That paycheck could be in the pocket of an American family. That tax revenue could be funding your kid's school instead of getting wired out of this country. The solution isn't complicated. Enforce the damn law. Clear the jobs. Hire Americans. That's it. It worked in Nebraska, and it'll work everywhere else too.
I know right now, people, it's hard to find some joy in some things, but what I find joy in is I just watched a video on Montana where the Montana farmers are going bankrupt. I think the state voted 100% districts to what's going on now, so fuck them. And then I look at Nebraska and see all the farmers crying about how they're losing everything. And then I look at Nebraska and how much they voted for this and how the farmers endorsed all this. And I say, fuck them. And then I'm watching the soybean farmers crying about how they can't export soybeans anymore because nobody wants them and they're losing money. But they supported this. Fuck them. Then I saw a video on vegetable farmers in Alabama that all their crops are going rotten because they don't have anybody to work the fields, but they voted for this, so fuck them. You all got what you voted for. Fuck you. We tried to tell you.
Oh, Iowa is finding out. We all remember Iowa from election night, where only 5 counties voted blue. And the good people have gotten exactly what they voted for, and now leading America in farmer bankruptcies. You know, farmer bankruptcies that hadn't been this high since the first Trump administration were trending down during the Biden administration. And these people are still so delusional that Kim Reynolds, the governor of Iowa, still came out and said, we're a Trump country, that we stand with the president despite the tariffs. I tell you what, you guys sure do like paying for your racism, don't you? To go along with the family farms going out of business, you have multiple investors that have now gone bankrupt in the companies they own in Iowa. But I tell you what, you can take a horse to water, but you can't make him drink it, can you? How can you people have lost everything? Your GDP has shrunk by over 6% this calendar year, and yet here you are stating that you're still a Trump state, that we stand with you even though you've destroyed our lives. What has this man done for you ever that you should give this loyalty? Oh, the racism.
So on election night, I thought that there were a number of states that would see what happened in the past and make a wise decision. One of those states that I thought would be wise would be Iowa. But on election night, I was soon brought to reality. Only 5 counties of the entire state voted for Kamala Harris. Donald Trump won overwhelmingly in the state of Iowa. But now you're starting to see an increasing number of bankruptcies in that state. As a matter of fact, the numbers are trending up, and more importantly, they are almost as high as they were during the COVID period.
More of America's family farms are going bankrupt. Researchers at the University of Arkansas finding that more than 250 farms filed for Chapter 12 bankruptcy between April 2024 and this March, marking a drastic increase in financial distress. According to the data, nearly 90 farms filed for bankruptcy in the first quarter of this year, almost double the number from the same quarter in 2024. Analysts are contributing the rise to a handful of factors, including inflation, higher interest rates, and labor shortages, which are being exacerbated by President Trump's mass deportation campaign.
And now I was leading the nation, the entire nation, in the number of bankruptcies. Now, I want you to be aware of this. The numbers were trending down during Biden, but now they are on the rise. Your family farms are collapsing. Your local investors are bankrupt. Your GDP has shrunk more than 6% this year alone. And yet you're still waving the flag for the man who lit the fire to inflame, burn down your house. My mother would always say, you could take a horse to water, but you cannot make it drink. Now, I have a couple of questions. What has Trump ever done for you? What return did you get on your investment? I'll tell you what, you got racism, and you sure do love paying for it.
Hi, Chris Gibbs, Ohio. I got just one simple question for my fellow grain farmers. 4 years ago today, the cash price of corn was $5.50 a bushel. Today it's $3.50, a guaranteed loss. 4 years ago today, the cash price of soybeans was $13 a bushel. Today it's a maybe break-even $9.75. 4 years ago today, the prime interest rate was 3.25. Today it's 7.5%. Look me straight in the eye. Tell me straight, are you better off today than you were 4 years ago?
Hey, it's Joe from Georgia. So we're getting ready for the first domino to fall, and we know what happens after the first one falls. Well, the state of Nebraska, the governor, Jim Pillen, has asked the federal government for help because they're not going to be able to pay their bills this year. And here's the problem in Nebraska. They had over a $2 billion contract with the Chinese government to export soybeans to China. Well, out of that $2 billion, they've canceled all the contracts. So out of that $2 billion, $350 million was state revenue taxes. They're not getting any of that. And the governor also goes on to say that because the migrant farmers weren't able to work in Nebraska this summer, that those people didn't pay their taxes either. And the farmers who already have crops in the ground, folks, they've already spent their money. They're going to need help too because they're not getting any money from the contracts anymore. So Nebraska is the first state. And when you look at the Midwest, you're probably looking at Kansas, you're looking at Iowa, South Dakota, all of those places that are large exporters of grains to China and depend on migrant farm labor. They're not going to be able to pay their bills either. So here's the first one to fall. But of course, as we do know, a certain person in a certain house in Washington, D.C. at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, they know all about bankruptcy. I'm sure they'll be able to help.
Well, friends, we got to talk about it. We got to talk about it. We knew Texas would go through with it. We knew the minute they had the opportunity, they would finish what they started. They didn't want to wait 5 more years for another census. They didn't care about the rules. They sure as hell don't care about democracy. They unconstitutionally gerrymandered their state in the middle of a decade. Like a butcher carving up black and brown communities, ripping away the voices of black and brown people. Just to steal more Republican seats. And guess what? Other red states are watching closely, and they're following in their footsteps. They are lockstep with them. If we sit back and wring our hands while they rig the system, kind of how we got here already, the Republicans are willing to shred democracy to hold on to power, and the blue states have to fight. They have to fight hard to protect it. That means Democratic leaders, now you must act. You have to step up. You have to start redrawing the lines in your states. I love how Gavin Newsom gave it to the people. But this urgency that is on top of us can't be overstated. We cannot let them take away everything that our forefathers fought for. Our Constitution, our freedoms hinge on this moment in history. And if Democrats would rather sit on their hands and just sit back and see what happens, then you know who to vote out if you ever get another opportunity to vote, that is. This is a fight for survival, and it is time for Democrats to stop waiting to be told what to do and start protecting the future, this country, our children. I'm just sick and tired of being sick and tired. I really am. That statement has never meant more to me than right now. I feel defeated as fuck. But here's the thing. I'm not giving up. I'm not shutting up. I'm not backing down. This makes me push harder. This makes me push harder, speak louder, say harsher things, because I'm done playing nice. If this is civil war, sign me up, because I don't want to play nice with these motherfuckers anymore.